It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Mount Doom in the capital has been seething. Inflation is rising. War is coming. Wokeism is spreading. The statist minions have been dispatched all throughout Middle-earth to bring tyranny upon the people. But there is hope. In the Shire, the voluntarists have been having parties, dancing, and spreading truth, peace and love from their corner of the world in Anarchapulco for the last decade. Across the great Atlantic Ocean, the Liberlanders have been planting their flag and creating a new nation to fend off from the statist woke armies. Just as darkness had nearly enveloped all of Middle-earth, all of a sudden, a miracle. The sound of a horn and smoke signals rose up. The voluntarists of Anarchapulco and the Liberlanders had joined forces. From all over the world, freedom fighters and activists are coming to Liberpulco. The merging of Liberland and Anarchapulco has happened. And just in time. September 5th to the 7th at Liberland Ark in Serbia. They will congregate. Jeff Berwick, President Vit Jedlicka, Max Egan, David Avocado Wolf, Steve Falconer, Alex Zek, the Crypto Vigilante, Rafael Laverde, Patrick Henningsen, Henna Maria, Dr. Lydia and Arturo de Leon, Persephone Aishwarya, Dr. Tess Laurie, and many, many more. Nightlife and parties with Double LMC and DJ Magics. Pre-parties and decentralized Liberpulco from September 2nd to the 4th, and a tour of Liberland on September 8th. Get away from woke dystopia and join us in beautiful Serbia and Liberland this September. Liberpulko.com.
Welcome, Anarchapulco virtual content watchers. We have a bit of a different show for you today. We have Ranarchapulco. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the guys from Rise Above, Lance and Andy. They are from the UK, and I discovered them through one of our much loved channels, Archaics, and I went down that particular little rabbit hole and found this amazing show that screens on YouTube on a Friday night UK time. And these guys have set themselves apart because they have the best production value with massive humorous elements, and they are here to tell you about all of those things and more. And here we have the guys from Rise Above, Lance and Andy.
One, two. I'm Double LMC.
And I'm Andy PG.
And this is
Rise Above, generate, rise above, extinguish fear, rise above.
Yeah, what were you saying about production, Rebecca?
Oh, man, it's so great to see. And I really think it sets the bar for people to not be like me with just a blind behind me.
That'll be our Freemasonic Tavistock Institute fund. That we get
all these
here.
NGOs and shady corporations pumping all the money for us to build this studio. No, it's all we did it all ourselves. We've got nobody to thank.
Well, you have got them to thank, because none of us would be here if these people were not trying to engineer us into extinction. So I love your approach to things, guys. So
it's awesome to
I'd
be
love
here,
you
Rebecca.
to tell.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
No worries. Please tell people about yourselves and about your show.
Okay, so what is Rise Above? We started in 2020, and what we're trying to do here, and we are trying to set ourselves apart from other truther podcasts. Really don't like that term, to be honest. We've coined the term new organic media. So what new organic media is, okay, I'll tell you what it isn't. It's not like the mainstream media. This is something in the last couple of years with everything going on with the Great Reset. People have obviously recognised that the media is corrupt, but everyone's just talking about tearing it down. We need to get rid of it. Well, if you get rid of the media, then what are you going to watch on a Friday night?
That's it.
So we're trying to, rather than just tear things down and complain about things, we're trying to create something new. So that's what new organic media is. It's totally independent, totally grassroots, no outside influences, no sponsors or anything. We fund ourselves by selling merchandise, T-shirts. We have an online learning portal. We do events, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So that's what we're trying to be, much more than a podcast.
That's fabulous, because yes, definitely the podcast arena has been saturated, and there's what I love about you guys is you're playful. You make people laugh, and I'm sure the this interview is going to feature some of those things that give me a chuckle.
We're going to give you a little taste, because what we're going to do, first of all, in a moment when I get my slideshow on, because that's a very important part of it here, and I'll let you know all these graphics, all the visuals, everything here is all made in-house. And, you know, me and myself and Andy, we've studied the occult
for a long time.
We know how important symbols and visuals are. Okay,
numerology.
So, we'll be coming on to that in a minute. Okay, right. So shall I start my slideshow?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's about time to do it. Let's do it. Okay, let's get the screen up here. Now, the first thing you'll notice here is this is a Ra Acapulco slideshow. So rise above, RA, okay, Ra. You'll notice that we Ra everything up. We understand how important and powerful language is and how it can be weaponized. So we try to do the same, and I'll come on to this more.
You can see this in our sigils here. You know, we use the sun as one of our sigils. We got down the bottom right-hand corner, we've got Ra Media there, and we obviously use
We actually believe
Ra.
in taking things back. You'll see the number 33 in our graphics a lot as well.
All over the place.
We know how powerful these things are. I'm going to go into this more. So all will be explained. Now, New Organic Media. We are more than just the Friday night show. What else are we? Riseabove.tv is our primary website. Okay. What are you saying? Get rid of that graphic?
No, I'm just saying get up so everyone can see us as well.
Yes, okay. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Andy PG. He's just reminding me that we should have this extra good view on here.
There we go.
There we go. That's even better. So at riseabove.tv, you can see a lot of our videos going back. We've done exposés, deep digs. You go out and survey, historical buildings and call them out on their lies and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. We do videos. I mean, me, Lance, and our partners have just got back from Thailand as well. You know, we make little travel videos and stuff like that. It's, you know, we like to have a little bit of everything here on the show. As you can see here on the screen, we've got our bite-sized page, which is like little snippets of our show. They're perfect for like sending someone that hasn't seen Rise Above. You can just give them a little sort of 10, 15-minute video rather than, you know, we normally do a sort of 2.5 to 3 hour live stream.
When we've got guests on, we'll usually edit those down because we've had all manner of authors, researchers, teachers come on the show, and we try to keep it a really broad spectrum as well. But what we also are doing is basically becoming a platform for proper underground, independent, conscious musicians. Myself, you know, I'm an MC. I'm still a jobbing MC. I don't do music so much anymore now. Myself and we met through music.
Yeah. I was DJing on the rave sort of circuit in the local town, Bournemouth, where we're both from, and Lance was MCing, and we sort of hit it off when we got together, didn't we?
Yeah, and then 2018, 2019 came around, and we decided to start doing some Facebook groups, and then it morphed into this. So as you can see behind us here in the studio, we have a full pro DJ setup. I've only got one camera on today because, you know, there's not a lot going on in the studio. We've actually got 6 cameras in here, so we've tried to deck this out, as much as a professional studio as we basically could. So really important to get these conscious musicians in here. We've had some really good rappers like Inspector Veg, Ryan Sanders. These are obviously all UK guys as well.
Comprehend as well.
Yeah, so go and check all our back catalogue at riseabove.tv. Now, what we also have is a learning portal called the Ra Academy. So this is to teach people stuff like, this is the digital nomad course, how to make passive income and money online. We've also dealt with learning about crypto, medicinal mushrooms, guided meditated breathing. So we're covering like the physical and the digital side of the survival techniques throughout the greatest apocalypse ever. Or I almost said it, almost spoiled our first
careful.
And also the more spiritual, esoteric side as well. Apart from that, we've had 2 awesome meetup events. One in 2022 called Ra Treat, and in 2023 we did a spring equinox event called the Equinox, where we got all of these conscious rappers together and actually put them with our house band. They were performing live with the band, which is one of I believe
it was really good, man.
And it was the first time that had happened anywhere.
Yeah, it was really good. We had our MCs just freestyling to a band playing live drum and bass.
And these are all the artists that
it was really good.
That throughout 2020 and 2021 were telling the truth about what was going on with the Soviet Union, and many of them were basically cancelled. They had their songs taken down.
What's that you just said there, Lance? The Soviet Union?
The Soviet Union, you know, that technocratic dictatorship that tried to take power in 2020, the rise of the Soviet Union. Don't worry, Rebecca. I know you know what we're talking about, and if anyone doesn't, all will be explained. But before we go any further, do you think the Acapulco crowd would like to see one of our events? I do have a video which I happen to have edited myself.
Oh yeah, I think they'd love to see that.
So this was a weekend camping retreat. We actually did it on the weekend of 9/11. It's from the 9th to the 11th of September. We rented a whole campsite out in a beautiful.
It was
woodland
coincidentally
location.
the same weekend as the Queen dying.
The Queen died
Allegedly
on the first day of our event, which really was.
It set the tone for the whole weekend, and it was actually it was under the the harvest moon.
Yes,
was it the harvest pink moon?
It was a hunter's harvest
moon.
Moon. So it was a family event. We had kids learning all types of woodland skills, how to light fires, how to identify trees. We had speakers.
We had all types of stall holders and vendors. We had people. We had Matt Duran. He was selling organic juices and stuff like that. It was really good. There was lots of stuff going on. Check the video out.
Extinguish fear when we generate. Rise above, generate, rise above. Extinguish fear, rise above. Abstract stillness, rise above. W, rise above. Extinguish fear, rise above. Extinguish fear when we generate. Rise above, generate, rise above. Extinguish fear, rise above. Abstract stillness, rise above. W, rise above. Extinguish fear, rise above. Extinguish fear when we generate. Rise above, generate, rise above. Extinguish fear, rise above. Abstract stillness, rise above. W, rise above. Extinguish fear, rise above. Extinguish fear when we generate. Since day one we've been going in militant, not same, also different. Abstract sonance, no equivalent. A double L strokes omnipotent. May I suggest a lyric proof less? I got a bar that will tear through a chest and cause a massacre from my caliber. Your Kevlar can't protect. Anyway, back to the subject. Expose devilish acts to the public and talk topics they won't publish. Instigating cold war / Sputnik. Observe you with a satellite view. Heard the cattle these parasites do. Worshipping the gods of our conquerors is a blinded acolyte view. Never the spineless remain reminded. They drink blood and sacrifice you. It's so misguided. Laws are provided to benefit the chosen few. So we rise above and extinguish fear when we generate love. A single candle lights up the darkness. That is the power we all harness. Let's identify targets, light them up, lick them down. Carpet beef, sprinkling garnish. The message, word, power, sound. I don't care if our whip gets tarnished. Split this shit till I'm dead in the ground. When they pollute your mind with garbage, do one thing, just hold it down. Rise above when we generate. Rise above, generate, rise above. Extinguish fear when we generate. Rise above when we generate. Rise above. Rise above. Extinguish fear when we generate love. Rise above when we generate. Rise above, generate, rise above. Extinguish fear when we generate. Rise above when we generate. Rise above. Rise above and extinguish fear when we generate. This is more than 232s in a hook. You want lyrics? I write books. Where your head double L overtook. With a statement you can't overlook. Like short rhymes you can't unhear. Plot lines never unclear. And I tell them direct to your ear. I doubt the signs that guided us here. And these lies from lost puppeteers who cut through throats like short buccaneers. Call to arms, don't volunteer. Or take orders from brigadier. From war and carnage they profiteer. The march goes on till we disappear. It's my duty to interfere. Smash them system like chandelier. MCs chat about whips and cars. I rap bars about pyramids on Mars and other weird subjects. Hidden for years, locked in casks. Strap a protective mask, inform your collective. War and star. It's a harrowing task and I'm swimming in fears on a narrowing path I'm powering past. All these bullshit rappers will devour you last. And they're carrying fast. Drop from the top of a towering shark. Push from the ledge of a soaring peak. Shook from the pledge of a war and speak. The outlook's bleak. Frozen breath cause the output's weak. Rise above when we generate. Rise above, generate, rise above. Extinguish fear when we generate. Rise above when we generate. Rise above. Rise above. Extinguish fear when we generate love. Rise above when we generate. Rise above, generate, rise above. Extinguish fear when we generate. Rise above when we generate. Rise above. Rise above and extinguish fear when we generate.
Wow, that actually brings back memories.
Yeah, it was
walking
awesome.
through the meme forest. Did you see the meme at the end there?
Oh yeah, that was great. Yeah,
Great.
and I love that
Part
track.
of the woodland. Oh, thanks. That's obviously the theme tune to the show. That was a remix we did just for that video. I wrote that back in I think 2013 or 2014.
That's aged well.
Yeah, well, a lot of the stuff that I wrote in like 15 or 16 now, if I play it, it gets banned because it talks about killer vaccines from wicked regimes with war machines, and that's one of the. So yeah, a lot. I think that's part of the reason why people started to listen a little bit, because I put out some music.
There was who invited the military here as well.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a great
I
tune.
wrote that in 2019 about the coming civil unrest and stuff like that. So yeah, music. And all types of expressive art are a big part of what we do here. A lot of the people that we have come on are also artists as well. It's not just myself and Andy PG. We have other, members of the team too, and lots of other people working behind the scenes. So that's in a nutshell what we're doing as a whole within this whole new organic media thing. We're trying to provide something for people to enjoy once all the parasite stuff is torn down.
We don't have mind control here on the show.
We don't. But what we do have is the antidote for mind control. Now, here's where it gets interesting. On the Friday night show, because that's really the crowning piece of Rise Above, right?
Yeah, that's what everyone looks forward to. Right?
Rise Above Live on a Friday night. Now, when we're not doing...
Do you remember? Because when we started this in 2020, this was when the lockdowns were on. I used to come to Lance's house at night time, and right at the start of it, it was a big thing to be out in the lockdown. When I was one of the only cars on the road, especially when I used to go home at night. It was like 1-2 o'clock in the morning sometimes, like during the lockdowns. But we did it every week, didn't we? Week in, week out.
We felt like we had to provide that for people
because there was nothing. People couldn't go out. People couldn't go to the pubs. They certainly couldn't go out and dance. And obviously, me and Lance being from the music scene, we wanted to provide something for people to watch and at least feel like they could take part in, because as well we have a live chat on the show and everyone is really interactive. We've got the best comments, the best chat.
We actually have an amazing community. Maybe 300 people watch the show live, but 3,000 or 4,000 every week tune in afterwards. And we have a lot of people in Australia, the US, Canada, Thailand, all over Europe,
from down under.
Yeah, I think Australia is our second biggest viewership outside of the UK. So big shout out to everyone.
Because we do occasionally do a customer services show as well. Yeah, these are actually one of my favourite shows that we do.
They've got very popular recently. We've got a designated phone line here now where people can literally just call in and it comes straight through to the show. So it's called customer services.
We've spoke to people from all over the realm.
Literally everywhere.
Yeah, literally everywhere. And it's so good to get, like, right during the lockdowns and stuff, we had so many calls from Australia and New Zealand telling us, like, it was so bad. And I know you're from down under, Rebecca, but I don't know what area of Australia you're from. But we were having people saying, who was it? Helen the Phoenix? Yep. She was calling in constantly telling us how bad it was getting in Australia. And we had people from Austria.
Yeah, they said
Hungary. I think the only place we haven't really heard from is China.
Yeah, probably just about. So when we're not doing the call-ins, when we haven't got the music artists in the studio, when we're not having a really interesting guest, or we're doing an expose or a deep dive, because those happen periodically throughout the year when something big happens. When we're not doing all that, what's quite popular for everyone on a Friday night is us to do the whole dissecting of the clown world stuff. Now, the first thing I know that people maybe that are watching right now at Anarchapulco are going to think is, why is anyone wasting time on the distractions? Because we all know that the crap that's being thrown at us from the mainstream media...
We know none of it's real. We know it's just mind control.
Big distractions. But before we give you a little taste of what we do on a Friday night, there are a few slides to explain why we do what we do and the methods behind it, okay? So back to the slideshow, because as ever, these are very salient points. Let me just get that right. There we go. That's better. So Rise Above Live, saving you every Friday night at 9 p.m. from Soviet propaganda. Right. Here are some basic principles that underline why we actually spend time looking at the mainstream news feed and wasting any time on it at all, because I know what people are thinking. You should be concentrating on building and on solutions. We concentrate on that a lot, but we also find it very important for these reasons. If you are under attack from psychological warfare, build a mental fortress to protect yourself.
What does that mean, Lance?
Well, what this means is it means exactly what it says. We can all agree that on one level or another, these crazy clown world stories and these constant fear propaganda is a psychological attack.
Because let's be honest, you can't fully get away from it. You can move off grid, you can grow your own food, farm your own animals, you can do all of that stuff, but you're still never going to quite escape the Soviet Union's propaganda.
It's still seeping into society. So unless you go and live in a treehouse and don't interact with anyone, even then you still have to live in the world that is being seeped
Sure.
with these psychological attacks, and non-physical attacks happen all the time. So through the methods we're about to explain, we think it's very important to build that actual spiritual and mental resilience from this stuff, because you can't ignore it. There's a very famous saying which I'm about to butcher. I don't know who said it. If you try and fight the devil, he will just kill you much harder than you. He's going to batter you. If you ignore the devil, he will consume you. So you have to dance with the devil and use the catalyst that is provided for your own progression. Okay, so that's sort of like some of the thinking behind not ignoring this stuff. Now, here's another very, very important Ramish principle. I'll come on to that.
Ramish?
I'll come on to that in a minute. Comedy and satire are highly effective tools to de-weaponize trauma-based mind control. Now, what that means is, I think, Rebecca, you can agree that over the last 3 years, in the mainstream media, we've seen quite a lot of trauma-based mind control being pumped out.
More than usual.
I would say so.
Yeah, 100%. More than usual.
And definitely the memes got me through at one stage.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
We're going to get onto memes shortly.
We're going to explain exactly why we think memes are so important in this metaphysical battlefield in just a moment. But this is a core element of why we spend time. And we stopped doing it for a while. We were just concentrating on having
We
guests
got
with
complaints,
solutions.
man. We got complaints.
Every week we were just concentrating on interesting guests with solutions. We had emails and letters and complaints. Guys, we need you to start dissecting clown world to make sense of it and to help us with it, because everyone's just talking about all this bullshit all the time. So we got back to it using comedy and satire to de-weaponize the trauma-based mind control. This is such an important part of the Friday night show. Now, another very important element that we recognize, and this is a core principle: the rabbit hole is deep, dark, and it's also infinite. There is no end to learning about these subjects, which
Once you're down the rabbit hole, you're not coming out.
which we can term as the rabbit hole, these alternative avenues of investigation to the way the world is, the nature of the world itself, what a human is, etc. That's a never-ending, infinite rabbit hole. So I invented the concept, and I drew this by hand, by the way, and I've actually got it on my T-shirt right now. No, I've skipped forward. Okay, it's the Ouroboros rabbit. We know what the Ouroboros is. This symbol here, which this is the reason we know that the symbols and images are so important. The Ouroboros rabbit, the rabbit that's constantly eating its own tail. Now, what this basically is a metaphor for is a lot of people in the truther scene, as it's called, or maybe people that are new to this information, maybe people that got woken up very abruptly.
We'll just call it the truth scene. We'll just call it the truth scene.
What we've noticed a lot is that people seem to go from one subject to another, from one psy-op to another, sticking their sword in the dirt on that subject. Oh, look, this is the truth. This is the way it is, and then they go on to something else, and they're just stuck at the bottom of a rabbit hole constantly. Now, don't get me wrong. We love going down rabbit holes.
Absolutely, we're professionals.
We're connoisseurs of the rabbit hole in the Tingfall Kingdom. But if you spend all of the time at the bottom of a rabbit hole, your perspective is seriously limited. It's deep and it's dark down there. So, and this is a big one, we invented the concept of the whole rabbit. So instead of spending your time stuck, like this, with these subjects right up against your face,
we go down the rabbit hole and pull the fucking rabbit out.
Get the whole rabbit, extract it from the rabbit hole, take it up to the surface, put it on the table, cut it open, start dissecting it, get the microscope out. Again, this is available on a T-shirt too. This is the concept of the whole rabbit. So when we talk about these subjects that are in the clownverse, they might be trutherish subjects, they might be totally normie subjects, but we look at it all holistically. It's a holistic rabbit approach.
We've had so much diversity on the show. We've had people from plant-based diets to UFO skeptics to
people that people drink their own weed.
Yeah, people that drink their own urine. To literally, we won't discriminate to anyone. We'll get anyone on the show to give them a platform. If we think they've got something worthwhile to say, and it's a rabbit hole or a concept that we think others will be interested in. And
for instance, tomorrow night we're hosting quite an interesting three-way debate: carnivore versus vegan versus veggie. We're going to have this final showdown. I've got to try and host this debate. That's tomorrow night on a Friday. So yeah, the concept of the whole rabbit. Another thing that we've noticed is to actually effectively process this information, if you haven't done at least 10 years worth of research with legends, people like Mark Passio,
David Icke,
Max Egan, and that glut of information about the occult, about this esoteric knowledge, and you're just constantly chomping on psy-ops. It's like a massive psy-op sandwich every 5 minutes, one subject to the next. Without that whole rabbit approach,
you're getting stuck.
You're basically trapped right in the deepest Nakara of the rabbit hole.
I turned Lance. We were having a chat the other week, and Lance actually coined the term cul-de-sac merchant, because these people that are dishing out these psyops are just dishing you out a cul-de-sac just to go round and round.
Or maybe
round.
charging you a subscription,
and they just don't go anywhere.
Feed you psyops on a little platter every week, and there's no
solution.
There's no solution. There's no like mental fortitude to work past it. It's just like problem. It's not even problem, reaction, solution. It's just problem.
Because it's very important to know the prison you're in, but you can only keep describing the prison for a certain amount of time before you've got to do something to try and get out of the prison.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I love describing the prison.
Absolutely,
we're both very good at it. You could go on about it for ages, but unless there's anything to be gained from it, unless there's any mental or spiritual progression from realising, okay, things are not as they should.
I think Mark Passio says it. He says there's nothing new. There's nothing new to be taught. It's all there. Like, there's no point dwelling on the knowledge that you know. If you don't know it, research some stuff. But there's no point in dwelling on. Like, you need to think of solutions and the way out of this problem.
Here's a little drawing I did back in 2021, just to sort of like explain. And don't get me wrong, this isn't an exhaustive diagram. It's just to give you an idea of, you know, the different cuts.
So
of
only
the
finest cuts of whole rabbit at Rise Above.
And don't get me wrong, it's not all on there.
So let's just quickly go through a few. Look, nature of reality, the occult, psyops, transhumanism,
hidden history of mankind,
geopolitics, planetary logos,
magic with a K.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, it's not exhaustive, but this is just you know, just a little illustration of this concept. This has to be looked at whole rabbit-listically.
Whole rabbit-listically.
Right. Here is another very important concept, a very, very strong Ramish principle. In the greatest apocalypse ever, which arguably started in 2020, this latest stage of the greatest apocalypse, make sure you are as tooled up as your enemy. And Rebecca, as I'm sure we've sort of already demonstrated to people, like images, language, and vibrations, music, all these things have been weaponized against us over the centuries.
Repetition.
Okay? Yeah. Well, looking around at our studio, looking at some of the artwork and the imagery, which we've shown you already, what we're wearing, okay? Look, Andy's as above, so below. Yeah, inside the Rise Above. So, like, we have studied all this stuff, and everything that you're seeing and hearing when you watch the show has been chosen very carefully.
There's a lot of people who have contacted us on customer services shows and stuff, and they've said to us that they kind of woke up, quote unquote, woke up in 2020. So I will give you some back context. Lance has been I've been studying this since 9/11. I've been looking into the occult since 9/11, and Lance, I think, is even before that. So we're not we don't class ourselves as peasants in the research sector.
Well, I mean, I felt like I spent 20 years preparing to do this, to do Rise Above. And you know, I've talked about this on the show a lot. You know, I sacrificed a lot of my spare time since, especially after about 2005, and my personal life to spend hours looking into this stuff and to get that background knowledge, so that when the time came and we said, right, there's a gap in the market here. In the market, no one is really fulfilling this slot of. That's what we were going to say. What we try to be is like Friday Night Live, but for refugees of Clown World. So if you don't want to watch Clown World media anymore, and you would want something entertainment and informative to watch on a Friday night,
you know, we're a talk show. We break down the news. We have music and stuff like that. It's exactly the same as something like Saturday Night Live.
Yeah,
you know.
Is the normally one Saturday night?
In the States, yeah, Saturday night.
Well, with Friday night. Okay, so we tooled ourselves up with the knowledge of how powerful images are, colours, music, numerology, and all different techniques that are used against us. We've tried to embrace them, learn about them, and re-weaponize them for not to be occultists, but to be de-occultists, and to show what was previously hidden. So that's why you will see that this imagery that we're showing is very powerful, and we do use AI. And you didn't want me to say this, but it has been. So we have got a bit of a kickback because
well, Lance said to me before the show, when we were just going through the slides quickly, before we started recording, Lance said to me, and you know, we controversially use AI, and I say it's not controversial.
It's not controversial to us, but it was controversial to a few people. And the reason I say this is obviously there's a big thing about transhumanism, the worries about AI. But I look at it like this. At the moment, if I use Mid-Journey to make some of these images, and this is an old one, a mighty beast requires a mighty plough. So if AI is a mighty beast, you better fucking build a harness for it to harness AI before it harnesses you.
And naturally, we've used the bull because that's an occult symbol.
No, there's this analogy of like the poor kids in Gaza. They're stuck in a terrible situation, chucking a rock against a tank with missiles on it. Right? We've all heard this. We've seen videos of it. It's terrible. Well, imagine in the future being in a position where you were chucking a rock at an AI-operated self-replicating machine that can actually catch the rock, crush it, ingest it, you know. So as far as we're concerned, obviously without sewing anything into our frontal cortex or implanting anything into our skin, we find it quite pertinent to learn about things like AI and these are new emerging technologies and to at least have an understanding of how to harness them and use them for good. Right, does everyone remember when AI physically couldn't do fingers?
That's right.
It was always easy to spot these AI pictures because the fingers were all mangled. Well, we even used that to our advantage when we came up with something like this. This is oh, nice one. The buttons have come out. This is Health Chancellor Gates, as we coined him, one of the leading Soviet health ministers, administering some experimental healthcare.
Absolutely.
Which seems to have gone a little bit wrong. Yeah.
Or did it go right? Well, maybe this is what he was aiming for.
It depends what the original hypothesis of the experiment was.
Absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, we in a nutshell, we try to be as tooled up as those working against us to try and hide information from us. And obviously language is a very big part of that. You'll notice that we also have our own sort of vocabulary. We call it the Ralphabet or Ramish patois, the occult language.
So if censorship is controlling your language, create a new one.
Now, the biggest reason that we've had to do this is because we wanted to stay on YouTube. And again, people say, why and how are you still on YouTube? Well, it's simple. We want to reach the most amount of people.
And this is when we get accused of being Freemasons or shills or controlled opposition, blah, 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 blah.
So one way we've managed to avoid the algorithm is by creating a new language. And it's
not really a new language. We just use kind of code words and stuff like that, which links into our comedy and satire. Because, for instance, we don't say vaccine on the show. We call it the Britney Spears tour.
The Britney Spears concert, like an arm spear. Like that's how deep it was getting. Big up Sheep Farm. That was
shout out to Sheep Farm. Yeah. So if you go to the Britney Spears concert, then you've had one. If you go the full tour, that means you're up to date.
The 3-dart finish.
Yeah, the 3-dart finish. That was coined by Sheep Farm, yeah. Right,
so like in the Ralphabet, in part of our terminology, A is for Al Gore ridden, because basically Al Gore is constantly listening to us. It's kind of weird to know that this isn't going out on YouTube and I can say whatever I want, because so we developed this sort of like slang vocabulary to avoid Al Gore and his dutty rhythm, because he's always on the dance floor trying to copy.
He's always eavesdropping, man.
Yeah, it's nosy bastard. Okay. And obviously a big one of that, we've already dropped it a couple of times, is the Soviet Union.
So Lance coined this back in 2020, right at the start of the quote-unquote pandemic. We can even say pandemic as well.
Oh God, I can say pandemic.
So basically this is, everyone knows the Soviet Union, so Lance coined it the Soviet Union. Lance has always been, ever since I've known him, he's been particularly good at coining phrases.
And here's why, right? In Ramish philosophy, we believe that if you can rename something, then you can reframe it.
Everyone knows the word, and just get the slide back up, Lance. Everyone knows the word, and at the bottom of this is what Adolf Hitler says: a lie told often enough becomes the truth.
Yeah. Now, the Soviet Union is a widespread term now. I don't know if anybody at Acapulco was someone referred to it.
Mark Devlin said that when he was on his Australian tour, they all knew it. They all knew King Sausage Fingers. They all knew Soviet Union.
So I actually coined it because I was on the street chasing down some of those Soviet enforcers, those weasels that went with like high-vis tabards that were shutting down small independent businesses. Back in 2020, I was a lot more reactive than I am now, and I was sort of out on the street trying to defeat the Soviet Union. So I'd go and sort of chase them down the street to make sure they couldn't cause problems for these business owners. And I was sort of like, having a back and forth with him. I go, this isn't the Soviet Union. And I actually said it completely by accident. It's only when I watched back the video, I was like, holy shit, we've really got something there. And then when I was arrested and I spent like 24 hours in a cell for doing the speeches and that, I had time to properly come up with the concept of the Soviet Union. So yeah, this was a great source of comedy.
Again, guys, you can get this on a t-shirt.
Yeah, you can get this on a t-shirt.
Right, so Lance, you've actually dropped the term Ramish a few times now, right? So we're just going to talk about this.
We need to big up the dollar vigilante, Jeff Bearwood.
Absolutely.
Right? Because when we first showed his little snippet about his take on the Amish people on the show, it sort of really sparked something off for us.
Yeah.
Because he basically said, look at the Amish as a great example of people that don't take part in...
Hundreds of thousands of people who have just been completely left alone.
So we were thinking, if the Great Reset is going to happen, which we have to live with the fact maybe we can't stop what they're trying to do. Well,
it's coming, whether we like it or not, it's coming.
Well, how is it different to hundreds of years ago when Amish people said, look at all those satanic bastards, let's do the opposite to them and go and live on our own little communities. And guess what? They were left alone. So we came up with the concept of being Ramish. Now, what we're not suggesting is people actually wear hats like that or go out and live in their own communities.
And plough the fields and stuff like that. You can't do that in a metropolitan city, guys.
But the concept of Ramish is that you can live physically, your meat suit can exist living in Clown World on a normal street. But up here, mentally, spiritually and emotionally, you are actually completely separate.
You're Ramish.
You're Ramish. It was a term that was coined by Inner Guardians, who used to contribute to the show, being metaphysically off-grid. Perfect timing.
I like that. I like it a lot.
Metaphysically off-grid. So you and again, we've had people come on the show talking about off-gridding.
And why do you have to be metaphysically off-grid? I'll tell you why.
This is a holographic construct.
Yes, Jason, correct. Now, again, this comes back to like the early slide which I showed earlier on about if you're under psychological attack or from psychological warfare, build a mental fortress to protect yourself. And once you're inside that mental fortress, you are metaphysically off-grid.
The Soviet Union can't touch you.
The silent weapons don't affect you. The trauma-based mind control doesn't affect you.
Do you know what? They can throw you in a jail cell like a peasant for 24 hours. And do you know what? What's changed? You'll come out the jail cell the next day. They can't do anything more than that.
All I did in that jail
They're
cell...
just order-following retards.
I just made loads of new concepts and came out more powerful. So, yeah, this is why we use the comedy and the satire, and as you're going to see in a minute, the memes, because you can... If something is trying to scare the shit out of you and use this fear programming and this trauma-based mind control...
When you know it's bullshit, just laugh in its face.
If you can laugh in its face, it instantly de-weaponizes it. It actually takes away all of its power. It's like the old adage about the boogeyman. The boogeyman's scary until you directly look him in the eye and say, I'm not scared of the boogeyman.
Call him out.
Yeah. So, okay, that's why we have done so far, like create these different terms, these different language things, the Soviet Union algorithm, the whole principle of being Ramish, being metaphysically
Ramish philosophy.
Ramish philosophy. We even had the idea of something called the New Ramish Order. As you can see up here, we've got Raj Agenda 2033. We love to take their stuff and mix it around a little bit. Now, here's a very important thing. Memetic sorcery reigns supreme on the metaphysical battlefield. So we all know about symbology and how the elites and these occult groups and these secret societies and bloodlines and religions and big corporations use sigils, symbols and images to great powerful effects.
They get into your subconscious. And we all know this. I'm sure everyone at Anarchapulco knows they've studied.
If a symbol or a sigil that's fairly simple can be charged with an intent, and then it acts as a talisman, and because this is what the occultists believe, this is what those working against us believe.
The dark occultists.
The dark occultists, of course. If that's true with a sigil or a symbol, imagine the power and what can be encoded into a meme. And this is where we find memetic sorcery throughout 2021 and 2022 was literally our most powerful weapon on the battlefield.
Because if you think about it, guys, the tarot deck, an allegorical information pack right there. They had to do it in symbols and allegorical form is because that knowledge at the time was was sacred. If you were putting that out, you would be, taken away, and by the quote unquote elites at that time, by the order followers, just come and haul you away. If you're teaching that kind of knowledge, that's why the tarot deck was put into allegorical and symbolic form.
So memes are powerful. They can do much more than sway opinions. As we've seen, they could potentially even sway elections. They can change the public discourse. They can change the collective consciousness.
Because once it's in there, once you see a meme, it's in there. You can't get it out.
And they actually have a twofold use. You can weaponize a meme to sway consciousness, for instance, to take the piss out of one of these fear-based programs. You can weaponize it to do that. But memes can actually be looked back retrospectively to gain the reaction from the consensus, so you can see how people reacted to these things being foisted upon us. So there's a dual use for memes within this sort of framework which we're talking about.
So we've prepared a few.
This is the first original Rise Above meme that was ever commissioned.
So we need to give a shout out to Virus Man.
Virus Man 2020. In 2020, we started coming up with these terms like the Soviet Union. Everyone was talking about the Great Reset. We were going in deep about Lord Schwab, as we called him. And we came up with the term live on air, the Greta Reset.
Greta Reset.
So we just did a competition.
Because we all know their long-term agenda links in with climate change. Fuck, we could say climate change.
Oh God, we can say all
links in with climate change.
Words.
So if we just break this down, explain how we got this meme in a second, but we'll just break it down. We've got Greta here on the globe with Klaus Schwab about to press the button. Now,
that's a red reset button, by the way.
that's right. And this was this is some artwork now. This is some is this in Rome? This thing where it's got the
isn't it on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel?
That's right. Yeah.
Leonardo da Vinci
That's
created
right.
this.
That's right. And
Michelangelo.
This has been
almost.
This has been re-schwabbed.
Yeah. It's a re-Schwabery. It's this is. I mean, to say this is our first meme. So we've got Lord Schwab on the right.
So do you want to explain how we got this meme?
Well,
first?
we came up with the term on a Friday night show. And
didn't we do a competition?
Yeah, we did a competition. We said when we had our first Rise Above T-shirt with the first symbol on it, Rise Above with the sun and everything. I said, right, a free T-shirt for anyone that can make a meme out of the Greta Reset. I want to see Schwab on there. I want to see Greta. I want to see the correct font. Well, this needs to be powerful. We had one single entry, and this was it.
And we didn't need any more.
And for me, this is such a powerful image because not only is it quite funny, but it just to link all that together. He's even got like the Soviet Union on his chest,
and it's very simple. It's straight in.
Yeah. So memes are powerful. I'm going to surprise myself with what's next. Oh shit! Now, anyone that knows anything about memes has seen this. Rebecca, are you familiar with this "I support the current thing" meme?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Well, did you?
I love it.
Did you know this is on the left here? This is the original version. This was ours. This was made by one of our guys, Sagehead. It was dropped on the 1st of March, 2022, when we'd had the Soviet Union, and then in between the Soviet Union and Ukraine, what else happened?
Everything.
But the NPCs were changing their programming every 5 minutes. So
people were putting on their social media photos, like a Ukraine flag or an LGBTQ or it was BLM, wasn't it? That was the big thing. They'd just have a big satanic death black cube on their profile picture.
So on the left is the first one that Sagehead knocked up. He did it as he was watching the show, and he sent it through to us on the 1st of March.
Because we get live memes as well sent into the show. Like we're broadcasting, and we've always got the chat. I've always got my eyes on Facebook and the email, and we get what we're talking about when we're dissecting clown work. We have people send us in memes in real time.
Memetics. It's really powerful. But anyway, as you can see on the right here,
top left hand corner of the right hand image, we've got Enki Musk.
Enki Musk himself shared this meme. This is the remix that was also done by Sagehead. This was about a week later because there was a remix in between here with just the Ukraine flag.
Yeah, we're going to get to that in a second. And obviously, you can behind this, you've got the we call it the alphabet mafia, the LGBTQ plus RFZY, whatever you want to call it, rainbow type flag. You've got the Ukraine flag in here. Obviously, there's the NPC here. You can adapt. You can re-swap this to anything that's going on in the
reason
media.
we're talking about this is how far it got. This one was shared by Enki Musk. And this remix was shared by the ultimate cul-de-sac merchant of all time, Russell Brand. Like this was the this
Highly
one,
popular amongst the NPCs.
highly
Russell Brand,
popular.
yeah.
We will be talking about the psy-ops within the Truth scene in just a moment. So yeah, Russell Brand shared this one, and again one of ours, and Enki Musk shared the other. This is how far, and just a meme that was made by one of our guys on a Friday night.
It didn't take too long either. It was a few weeks to get.
7 weeks for Russell Brand for it to get all the way for Russell Brand to share it. Not that we're saying it's a great achievement to have either of those share your work, because they're probably just Luciferian actors.
It just demonstrates how far a meme can go. Something so simple can actually spread amongst the peasant sphere into every corner of the realm.
Now, before we go on, here's a few more examples. Obviously, the whole Ukraine thing kicks off. We linked that all in with what was going on with regards to the Great Reset, and this is what our response: Lord Schwab and the WEF needs you. Okay, now here's a few.
Just send your money.
Send your money. We need some more money. Now, so.
Well, Zelensky's coke habit needs to be funded, man.
Yeah, it's an expensive habit. So here's a few things in the last 3 years that were thrown at us for fear programming and to sway our opinion one way or another. And I'm just going to show you how we responded in quick fire, right? So as we know, there's this phenomenon of many professional sports stars keeling over. And
we've just used football or soccer here for...
In a strange coincidence, recently after they've had their approved medical procedure, they suddenly keel over. Okay, everyone knows this phenomenon. So we coined it. We called it coinciditis.
And here in the meme, we've got Health Chancellor Gates just demonstrating here the curve.
He's actually got a graph here that shows the increase of coinciditis.
I mean, he's not trying to flatten the curve here. He's trying to elongate the curve.
Yeah. So this was back in 2021. I'll tell you a funny story about coinciditis. Well, it's not usually very funny, but anyway, I had to go to the Christmas peasants market just a few weeks ago with my family. You know those markets where you sit outside and they serve mulled wine, often in a town centre. I don't know if you have them. Yeah, the peasants market. I don't know if you have them in the more southern parts of the realm. Anyway, I was there and I needed to go to the toilet, and behind the bar are all these plastic portaloos, and right in between all the portaloos was this huge anti-coincidence booth. So this isn't just like a defib. We've all seen the defibs going up everywhere. They used to just be outside of shops that were frequented only by old rich people.
Sure.
Now they're going up in middle schools and first schools. Well, this was the most sophisticated COVID health centre I'd ever seen.
Let me tell you, unbelievable.
Thanks, Master Ginny. So you have to go there. You have to basically call someone or dial up the internet and ask for them to unlock the defibrillator. Now, have you ever seen anything like this, Rebecca?
I haven't seen one as extensive as that, but yes,
they're all over the
defibs are going.
This one of these.
Yeah, but having to call someone. Wait a minute.
You probably got to log in with your email and password first. So I made a post about this on Facebook, and I said, guys, watch this space. Next year we'll have assisted suicide pods right next to the Bratwurst stand. Just hold my beer. So yeah, coinciditis. That was what we coined, and you've seen the memes. So next up, they're saying, have your next special medical procedure. You'll get a free Krispy Kreme donut or a free doner kebab. We responded with this. Get the double Wuhan with cheeseburger. Free PCR test with each purchase. Go large for just 33p. Okay. This is a no context meme. I think this was just before the second season of the COVID.
This is a great meme.
Came out. It was like, are they going to do it again? Yes, they are.
Season 2?
Yeah, this was at the start of season 2, second lockdown. Coviet Union season 2, episode 1.
Excellent.
Auntie Coviet, which is she's the top meme-stress in the UK.
Oh, she's a busy lady.
She dropped Wuhan Forever, and if anyone doesn't know this album cover, where have you been? Now, here's the next one. So Enki Musk is actually physically going to start sewing the neurolace into your frontal
Sometimes we
cortex.
call him Robo Musk here on the show, or it's more appropriate Enki Musk because he wants to be the god.
So that was a story earlier this year, 2023. They're actually going to do the human trials for Neuralink. We responded with this profile picture. Thank you, Elon Musk. I've had my Neuralink with Arnie from Terminator 2. So what was the next one? Who can get another jab this winter? Have another Coviet booster. So we responded with this one. We like to remix the BBC if we can as well.
So there's an NPC zombie massacre here.
I'm not going to lie, some of the scenes in high streets across Europe did look a little bit like that throughout 2020.
Was this them all going for toilet roll?
Mate, we've got a lot to get through. We need to. Okay, so another fear programming. the Britney Spears concert, the vaccines, they contain graphene oxide, unlucky peasants. Oh, and even if you didn't inject graphene oxide, we're also spraying it into the air. So you can see here we've got patents for this cloud seeding with graphene oxide nanoparticles. Fear, 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 fear. We just responded with this. It's Bill Gates remixed into Terminator 2, the Graphinator, and yes, that is available on
You
a
can
t-shirt
get
too.
that on it. You can buy that for your grandma.
I've got a picture of one of our viewers wearing this in the COVID ward in an NHS hospital, right next to a doctor, the Graphinator. Okay, so again, this is how we use the memes to de-weaponize the trauma-based mind control. Here's a great example. Right, everyone shit your pants. You're about to get monkeypox. Your neighbour's got monkeypox. Everyone be super scared. We responded with this: the Chimpsons and the outbreak of monkeypox, starring Bill Gates and Jacob Rothschild, who Mr. Burns is actually, funnily enough, modelled on.
Excellent.
That was perfectly timed for me to take a little.
I think he used to say that, didn't he? Excellent.
Yeah, excellent. Oh, yeah, oh, nice one. That was a double entendre. And you know, there's this whole theme of the Simpsons predicting things. Obviously,
We've seen it time and time again.
We've
guys.
doctored
Everyone
this
knows.
one a little bit. This one's been schwabbed a little bit. I'm not going to lie. So when they told us Bill Gates was buying all the farmland, we did a huge expose and we called it Big Farmer Gates. And Virus Man drops another epic meme there.
And obviously somebody stuck a stick up Greta's ass here and she's a scarecrow in the field.
Greta's a scarecrow. So just one more example here. They told us that we need to start eating each other to fight climate change. So we responded by dropping the revised World Economic Forum 2030 food plan, which starts with eating less meat and ends with eating.
It's a gradual progression,
eating your
guys. You know,
nan.
it's an evolution.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of the time when we crack these jokes and we drop these memes, they often actually turn out to be quite prophetic, because there's a sort of absurdity with what's been going on in the last 3 years, and if you can sort of tune into it, it's not difficult to see where where we're going to go.
Sometimes
quickly.
you can sway it.
Yeah. Okay, now here's a big one, right? The current monarch of the UK, we pointed out in early 2020, it might have even been like 2019, that this guy had something wrong with his hands, and we coined the term sausage fingers. I think I used to call him the Chipolata Prince. Yeah. Now he's obviously like King Sausage Fingers the 33rd. It's official. But Mark Devlin said, like, when he went to Australia, everyone was calling him Sausage Fingers. As far as I know, we were the first people to come up with this. But now it's so widespread. This is from the 22nd of December 2023. King Charles has revealed he had a big fear for Prince William, as he hoped his oldest son would not inherit the monarch's huge sausage fingers. In the mainstream media here.
I read a report, 33 million people in Britain are mentally ill. No, they're not.
So
Thank you, Piers Morgan.
Hey, I'm not going to say we're the only people that notice the state of his fingers. It's probably from consuming far too much adrenochrome or something like that. Obviously, we have got a T-shirt for that one as well. This is part of one of my artwork, General Sausage Fingers the Third. So that's just a little taste of over the last 3 years. The method behind the madness, I guess. The method behind the madness, because people might think like the show can be quite irreverent sometimes, and sometimes it is, but it is like that for a reason, because we don't really feel like anybody else is talking about all these subjects holistically in this sort of talk show format.
And we're relaxed here on the show. Do you know what I mean? We have a drink, we smoke some weed, you know, we chill, we play some music and stuff. It's cool.
Guess what? Like, this is actually our social life now. Just talking to people on the internet is essentially our social life. So we never make apologies for having fun on a Friday night show. Okay.
If you want someone that's sitting behind a desk in a suit, talking all polite with your mind control, then this Rise Above isn't for you.
But to be fair, we do have a lot of great information, hard hitting subjects, but it has to be laced with the ethics and the Ramish
Ramish philosophy,
the Ramish way that we've been talking about. Now back to the serious learning. Okay, right. This is a big one, and this is also completely laced throughout our approach to talking about these subjects, because what we don't want to do is be victimized by these psy-ops, like a lot of the truther community are, because psy-ops don't just happen to people in the normosphere, they also affect the truther community
absolutely
a great deal as well. And what we've tried to do is be the voice of reason throughout this, look at everything objectively. The only thing we've ever all agreed on is that you shouldn't go to the Britney Spears concert. You know, apart from that, everything else is up for discussion pretty much. So there have been some great examples in 2023. Now, like I said earlier on, a few times a year, we do a big epic dive when something happens. Now, in 2023, I think probably the two biggest ones was what happened in Maui.
Yeah.
We did an epic dive into that. We're talking all about the Mountain Dew and the colour blue and all that kind of stuff.
Very selective burning.
The other, selective burning, and all. Well, you looked into all of it. The other big one, and this got us a huge amount of backlash, is when the Sound of Freedom movie came out.
Oh, I love a bit of backlash.
Now, as you can see on the right, it started with the meme, the Sound of Freemasonry. I think you've got Biden with a mask, and yes, that is Jimmy Savile's face.
You address him by his proper title. He's Grandmaster Ginny here.
Grandmaster Ginny. Now, I'm not going to lie. People were very upset about this, especially those truthers that were existing exclusively on a trust the plan based diet. Do you understand what I'm meaning when I say that? They're still trusting the plan.
Just trust the plan, guys.
Waiting for those goddamn little white hats to come and save us.
Did you just say little hats?
I certainly said little white hats, yeah. So, yeah, this was a big psy-op for the truthers scene, or people that thought they were truthers this year, and this was
a great energy harvest for the Soviet Union.
This expose was so controversial that it's totally banned from YouTube. It's only available on our BitChute channel now, which is double LMC. We totally went into the people behind the movie, who was funding it, links into the Mormon church and all that good stuff going right. And I actually exposed this whole military industrial child trafficking network that's run by AI that was linked all with this movie. Psyops affects the truther community.
Absolutely.
Even more so potentially, because in the last couple of years, it's like we're seeing things tailored specifically to sway truthers off the centre.
Especially, the 100%, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people who, quote unquote, just woke up in 2020 because they knew something wasn't right about it, but they're still susceptible to all these number of psyops because they haven't got a grasp on the way the occult works.
Yeah, so if anybody would like to see this, it's double LMC on BitChute. I think it's had about 10,000 views so far. But
the Sound of Freemasonry.
I had people calling me paedophile, Satanist, and all types of stuff because I was just questioning it and just giving them the facts. So that was a big one for us this year. Really sort of helped us trim the fat off certain people that are calling themselves truthers, which really should know better. A great example. Here's another great example.
This is Russell Brand dressed as the Mad Hatter.
In case anyone doesn't know, this shot is taken from the 2012 Olympic ceremony, where he's literally basically acting like the Pied Piper. Everyone knows some of the other stuff that was going down at that ceremony, predicting everything that was happening with the rise of the Soviet Union and the greatest apocalypse ever. With was it Mary Poppins dancing around the beds and the sick kids and everything? So. Yeah, Russell Brand was a big one, which we covered again this year, and I think that if people had taken a little bit more of a whole rabbit, holistic approach to these subjects before Russell Brand came along, the kind of approach that we're trying to foster on the show, I'd like to think that not so many people would have been taken in by this guy. We definitely called this in early 2020. We were probably posted about it before we were doing the live show.
Yeah,
this guy had been positioned where he was for at least a decade to start pulling truthers into his purple cul-de-sac.
And just lead them to nowhere.
This guy's like literally a market-leading cul-de-sac merchant.
He's again somebody else who just describes the prison. That's it. There's no solution there.
Well, his solution back in 2014 or 13 or something, when he said, "I'll never vote," and right at the back end of a general election, he told everyone to vote Labour and go with the political party right at the last minute.
Go.
So, yeah, huge psyops for truthers in the last year. Now, this comes on to what we're going to talk about actually in tomorrow night's show, Friday the 12th of January. So we've given you an idea of our approach and what we do. Now we're going to show you what we would actually talk about on a Friday night. So today is the 11th of January. We're only 11 days in to 2024. There's certainly been absolutely no shortage of rabbits to chew on.
It's just been falling in our laps the last couple of days.
Literally, I'm not going to lie. We were kind of unsure what we were going to do, what we were going to talk about on the show, because, like I say, we only do these exposés and deep dive and investigations when the time is right. We don't go out looking for the content. We allow the content to come to us. So I was like, what are we going to talk to Rebecca about? So
Lo and behold,
served right up on a plate for us. This was being served up. Let me just get rid of those graphics so you can see. This was being served up back.
let's get us on there.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
there we
yeah.
go.
Oh, you like it like that? So
Well,
you can see
yeah,
us
so
too.
everyone can see us.
This was being served up back in December. Epstein and friends will be named on January the 1st. Now, big shout to, again, I'm sure it was Jeff Berwick that actually went to Epstein Island when
That's
this was
right.
happening back in
Yeah.
2019. Well, yeah. In the first opening days of January, a huge commotion about the Epstein list. New documents will be unsealed. You know, yes, it's happening. We've got all these half-baked truthers online. Yes, we're taking down the global child trafficking network.
Ghislaine Maxwell's in jail. She's the star witness.
The little white hats, they're coming to save us. Gitmo, you know, we had all of this kind of stuff.
They're all coming out the dumbs.
Yeah. They're taking the kids out the
The Galactic Federation's landing, man. It's coming. It's coming.
Now, for anyone that is worth their salt and has done their investigation, they know that everything to do with what happened at Epstein Island, you know, first of all, you should have already heard about Epstein Island before he got arrested, as many of us had. We already heard about the accusations and allegations of what was going on at this special island. But there's also a whole load of stuff about when it actually happened.
I mean, I'll break this down. This is
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a psy-op in itself. People are basically saying here it wasn't Epstein's body. Well, yeah, no shit, because this is Chef Anthony Bourdain's body, for fuck's sake.
Now, again, this is just meat and potatoes that's been around since 2019. But the reason why we're talking about this is because we're gauging the public response and why is the Epstein stuff being brought up. Now, what's being claimed within the borderline of the normie sphere and the truther community and those overlapping spaces is that a new list of people has been unveiled. These are new, never before seen documents being unsealed. It's all total shite. Basically, these documents are from allegations made in a court case in 2016. They're exactly the same things that were coming out at the back end of 2019.
There's nothing new being released to
There
the
is
peasant sphere.
absolutely nothing new. Now, the fact that absolutely nothing new has been unveiled hasn't stopped normies and truthers really running away with this. Like I said, they're saying all types of things like, yeah, they're coming down, it's happening, it's finally happening, trust the plan. Well, anyone that's been paying attention basically knows that this is really the case. If you want to know who was going to this island, if it as Abs described, let's just easiest to say it's all of them. Nothing new has come out, okay? But
They did wheel out Stephen Hawking's.
right now, again, for anyone that's been paying attention, this photo has been around forever. It was before allegedly, now apparently it's been confirmed. This is a photo of the late particle physicist and the inventor of the theory of everything, Professor Stephen Hawking, at Epstein Island. It's supposed to be 2006.
He looks like he's having a great time, Lance.
I'm sure he's having a great time. This photo has been around forever. What I find particularly interesting is with this new apparently unsealed documents, people have gone mad about Stephen Hawking. He wasn't even named in these documents. It's Donald Trump, it's Lex Wexner, and all those characters.
Let's just quickly have a look at this picture. Okay, so from
has that girl on the right got a name card on?
I'm not sure, but you've got these two here on the right. They don't look too happy to be having their picture taken by the looks of it. The dude above it in the blue shirt, he looks all too ecstatic to be there. Obviously, Stephen Hawking. This guy to the left of Stephen Hawking looks like she's just drunk shouting in his face.
Yeah, she's just accosting him.
Yeah.
Now,
did you invent gravity? That's what she's asking him. That's literally what she's asking him.
tell me about string theory. So, the important thing to point out, first of all, is Stephen Hawking went to the island. He's probably one of the only people that have ever been to the island who is actually physically incapable of abusing anyone. Now, the first thing you think, maybe he liked to watch. Now, this is where the story gets quite entertaining, a little bit distasteful, to be honest. There are screenshots being shared everywhere about what Stephen Hawking's actual tastes were at Epstein Island. Now, again, for everyone watching this 2 or 3 weeks into February, I apologise. We've recorded this on January the 11th.
So, yeah.
This has sort of just happened. But the story is that he enjoyed
shorter people.
He enjoyed people of a short stature in front of chalkboards doing equations that they couldn't quite reach. Now,
So they weren't quite as smart as him.
now the mainstream media has obviously said, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot the meme. This is from Johnny Fogg, one of our top memesters. This is a remix of a remix of a remix. Weekend at Epstein Island. Now, the mainstream media... Thank you very much, Andy PG. The mainstream media is obviously saying that these are photoshops and this stuff to do with Stephen Hawkins. Well, I'll tell you now, the way this is playing out, it kind of really doesn't matter.
No.
Because I'm not going to show the 33 dozen memes of Stephen Hawkins looking at, let's face it, like midget porn and stuff.
Yeah, just go on your own social media if you want to see that. Yeah.
You guys can do that yourselves, do you know what I mean? But the fact is, that's what has taken the public interest. And again, I'll just show you this. We come back to The Simpsons. This is a shot when Stephen Hawkins appeared in The Simpsons, flying to Epstein Island with your personal midget. Now, whether or not it's true that The Simpsons predict things, or is it because they are, 33rd degree Freemasons, they have been given the script. But I would, rise above his new organic media. Let me just show you this very quickly. No. Whether or not that's been doctored or it's another thing to throw in the pile, it's just quite interesting that as soon as something like this happens, or a story comes out that may or may not even be true, it probably isn't, there's a Simpsons episode ready to go. It's already there. So I'm not going to show any more of these memes apart from this one. I just thought this was pretty good. I bet he's thinking about other women, and then we've got you get the idea. So this is what has really been capturing people's imagination. Okay, now the reason I'm showing this, Stephen Hawkins, in my opinion, is a bit of a questionable character in the first place. I'm sure some people have heard this before. He's supposed to be one of the smartest people that ever lived, and he came up with the theory of everything, sort of groundbreaking nature of reality conclusions, right? His IQ is 160, which is exactly the same as the other most famous person in history, Mr. Albert Einstein. These famous geniuses tend to have an IQ of 160. That's nowhere near the highest IQ that's ever been recorded. The highest IQ recorded goes up into the 230s and 240s. So it's just a little caveat to point out that these people are often heralded as the smartest people in history, or at least in the 20th century. They've only got an IQ of 160. Now, as far back as 2018, this is taken from the Daily Mail, which is a mainstream tabloid from the UK. And many people may have will know about this, whether they hate it or not is another story. The Daily Mail doesn't seem to have the same filter as a lot of the other mainstream media outlets. It actually was one of the first ones in the UK to print the whole lab leak thing about Wuhan in early 2020. It says here, Stephen Hawking has been replaced with a lookalike. Conspiracy theorists claim the real Stephen Hawking is dead and a puppet has taken his place. And they reveal the 6 clues to support the idea.
Sorry, Lance, just had to get some raw refreshments.
Sorry, mate, I've gone straight into Stephen Hawking's. Now, this has been printed in one of the main papers in the UK in 2018, actually legitimately asking the question, has Stephen Hawking been replaced? The main reason they talk about this is, as obviously he's severely disabled, he's got ALS. Right, now, the average lifetime of someone after they're diagnosed with ALS is at a...
3 to 5 years, no?
They say 2 or 3 years.
Sometimes. 2 or 3.
Now, Stephen Hawkins, I believe, lived for the best part of 60 years with the disease. Now, the first thing you can argue is he's got the best medical care going. That's a given. That's fine. So that was one of the criticisms of how could this guy live so long with such a debilitating disease. Now, I'm just going to be totally honest with you. The whole time, even way before Rise Above, I always thought to myself, when I started to realise there was something wrong with this realm, wouldn't it be a proper mockery to say the smartest guy that created the theory of everything is essentially a vegetable in a wheelchair who speaks through a computer, and you can never... he doesn't even move.
Maybe he's AI.
Wouldn't that be not only a great propaganda tool to control the narrative within physics if you were in control of what he says, but also wouldn't that be a great mockery for the peasants? This guy is the smartest guy on earth.
Sure.
So obviously I've got a bit of a dark comedy mind, but that's all. When I was a teenager, I always thought that. I'm obviously not the only person to have thought that either. There's quite a good PDF. It's about 15 pages long by a guy called Miles Mathis. I think this came out back in about 2016, 17. And he proposes that there's actually been up to 3 different Stephen Hawkings. On the left is a picture of Stephen Hawkins in 1982. He's looking fairly old with quite a gaunt face, right?
Weird teeth, man. As well.
Yeah, he's got teeth problems, obviously, as well. But look at his grey hair, right? That's 1982. Well, in 2007, okay, he may have dyed his hair. He may have had some false teeth put in. But as you get older and you've got a muscle wasting disease and you're in a wheelchair, wouldn't you expect to get more and more gaunt and withered away, not get chubbier? Well, anyway, I'm not going to show you any more photos of this, but
It's just interesting.
it is interesting that this one person, Stephen Hawkins, that everyone's interest is put in to do with Epstein at the moment, it might not even be who we think it is anyway. And I found a video as well, someone talking about this, saying that this guy could essentially just be a character. That obviously, if he died in 1980s, there is a vested interest to keep this character going.
Sure.
So I find that very, very interesting. And I did a little bit of research into how long can people actually live with ALS, and I found this guy here. He was at the time when this was written in 2012 was one of the longest survivors with the disease. This guy's in Toronto. Funnily enough, he'd lived with it for 33 years.
Oh yeah, 33 years. Was that?
I'm sure that is just a coincidence. That's got to just be a coincidence. Okay, so again, I just found it very interesting that all of the attention has been captured with this, and we'll just end the Stephen Hawking section here with this thought. The great thing about Stephen Hawkins being on Epstein's island, it shows that Jeffrey believed in diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Excellent.
I just thought that was brilliant. So,
Michael.
while in the early days of 2024, the mainstream media and the truthosphere has been caught up with the Epstein crap, and the funniest thing to come out of it is Stephen Hawking. I think we've covered that. But this goes a lot deeper. Now, this meme here was sent to me yesterday by Future Ghost, who's one of our most powerful memetic wizards. He only knocks out about one a month, maybe 10 to 12 memes a year. I think we call this one... what was it?
This is the tip of the cornerstone of the iceberg.
Jeffrey is just the tip of the Steinberg. So at the top here, we've got cornerstone. In case anybody doesn't know, Epstein, or Epstein in Yiddish, that means cornerstone. Now think about the position that Epstein allegedly had within this global network, the cornerstone.
Think about the Freemasonic use of the term cornerstone.
Yeah. And here's another anecdote. Zuckerberg.
That means Sugar Mountain.
Sugar Mountain in Yiddish. Well, what's a sugar mountain? It's a mountain of little sweet dopamine hits, like Facebook, that you can climb up. Liking and posts, getting dopamine hits. So Sugar Mountain. So anyway, we're digressing.
So we've got Jeffrey Epstein at the tip of the iceberg here.
Now, if you
Steinberg,
know who all 4 of these people are, then you are fully Ramish. You've probably watched at least 33 episodes of this show. The second character down is Jimmy Savile, the most prolific paedophile in UK history.
We like to call him Grandmaster Ginny.
Basically,
on the show.
he was the wizard of the Saxe-Coburg-Gotha monarchy. And as soon as he died, that whole family sort of started
They lost
to go
a lot
down.
of power.
They lost a lot of power. This guy's a powerful dark occultist. Beneath him, we've got another famous character, Mr.
Our favourite, Aleister Crowley.
Aleister Crowley. Okay, so anyone can do their research and know who this guy is. What we're showing here is a lineage. And if you know who the guy at the bottom is, then you really know your shit. This
Who have we got here, Lance?
is Sabbatai Zevi,
Whoop,
the
whoop.
Jewish messianic character from 1666. Now, the reason this meme has been commissioned, and if you already understand this meme and I don't know to explain it, then you know your stuff. What we're talking about here is actually a framework, a theology, which is called Sabbatean-Frankism. This guy at the bottom, who was the Jewish Messiah in 1666, he had his own breakaway sect within the Jewish religion. They reckon he had up to 1 million people following him. And what he basically did was invert everything.
He was very well funded and had a lot of resources.
So with Sabbatai Zevi, abstinence becomes an orgy. Fasting becomes a feast. Redemption through sin.
Light becomes dark, good becomes bad, blah, blah, blah. You can see where we're going with
Orgies,
this.
bloodletting, maybe human sacrifice, paedophilia. Basically, for those who have researched this guy and the effects he's had, he was followed by Jacob Frank, who came after him. So the term Sabbatai-Frankism, it's arguable that this is actually the religion of though the sect which are in control of the world at the moment, i.e. the banking mafia, your Rothschilds and your Rockefellers, it could be argued, and many researchers do believe, that this guy is the messiah for them. So yeah, this meme encapsulates a lot. The cornerstone is only the tip of the Steinberg. It goes right the way down to Shabbatai Zevi underground, the Jewish messiah. Now bear that in mind, okay, because this is a segue. There's a story which came out on Twitter, started off in early December. And this is not the only guy who's reporting this. This guy's called Richard Stroker or Strocher.
So we got here, he's reporting, I swear I keep hearing Yiddish under the floor of my New York apartment, in brackets. I live at ground level and have no basement. So what is that like? He's chilling at home and he's hearing Yiddish from under his floor.
So that was tweeted on December the 11th, 2023.
And then he's tweeted now in recent days, I'm not crazy.
And there's another one here back from November the 7th. There are Jews living under my apartment. I hear them like they are digging or something. For the record, I live at ground level and I don't have a basement. Now, people were calling this guy an anti-Semitic lunatic, saying he was hearing things.
Far-right extremist, like.
Probably a far-right extremist. Well, lo and behold, a massive story that's going on at the moment, and it's got quite a lot of attention in the rabbit sphere, shall we say, and not the mainstream media, is in Brooklyn. There has been a sort of small-scale riot at a synagogue, but it's not just any synagogue, it's the Chabad Leibovich Center.
It's the top one, mate.
They are the biggest sect of Hasidic Jews, and they're all over the world.
They're highly Jewish.
But it's important to say that these are not the Orthodox Jews which are anti-Israel. These guys are pro-Zionist, right? Now, what does it say here? A secret synagogue tunnel sets off altercation that leads to 9 arrests. Now, I have got a video of this, which I'm just going to show to you very quickly. Here we go.
Why, you sit down.
This bit I've sped up a little bit, but this actually shows the tunnel system that they've been illegally digging underneath this building that was clearly going directly underneath this other dude's apartment that was on Twitter. Yeah,
I mean, it's fairly well structured.
Yeah, it's a little bit dirty down there. This is where they're trying to fill in the tunnels to bring riots.
NYPD here trying to
This bit is particularly interesting. This is excellent. This guy comes up from the ground at exactly the right time when there's a camera there. He's literally emerging from the sewer like a teenage mutant ninja.
From behind a magenta newsstand.
Yeah. So this is what happens, or is still happening. I believe they're still trying to fill in this hole while there's an extremist sect within the Chabad Leibovich movement of these students which are trying to stop them from filling in the tunnels, which I'll come on to in just a minute.
So is this the secret sect on the right?
Oh, what, this one here? Let's just have a look. If we just zoom in, we can see who's hiding down the tunnel.
What have we got here from left to right? We've got Benjamin Netanyahu. We've got John Podesta at the top.
Ben Shapiro.
Zelensky, of course.
Is that Rabbi Judan Peterson?
That is Judan Peterson. And, of course, one of my favourites in the peasant sphere is Hillary Clinton.
Okay, now... there's also really crazy reports of pictures of the things being pulled out the tunnel. They involve...
We got stuff like dirty mattresses, prams, like baby strollers. You know, it's all very nefarious.
So this person here on Twitter is saying, why are baby strollers, high chairs and stained mattresses doing in the Chabad Leibovich tunnel?
I think this is a great meme here on the left. Who had Jews digging street tunnels in New York?
Now, obviously, there are historic... what are called anti-Semitic tropes about tunnels, human trafficking, children. Right now, when this happened, and it is still happening right now, without us seeing a video of this this Jewish man here literally emerging from a sewer, a picture is already being painted. And the mainstream media, especially the Jewish media, are obviously saying that. And
Sorry, we'll rephrase that. This Jewish-looking man.
Yeah, I mean, he could be an actor.
Absolutely.
To me, this looks like it could.
Mate, anything's up for grabs in the holographic construct.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, it does get... Oh, here's a great meme. Does anyone remember The Borrowers?
Yeah, it was a really old school
I loved
UK
The Borrowers.
You had them in Australia. We were a bit worried this was too UK-centric. So
The Borrowers.
The Borrowers. Big up Bazman for this meme. I got this morning. It was mad. I was doing all this research into these tunnels and the meme just appeared in my inbox. Now, it turns out... Oh, yeah, and funnily enough, on the same borough...
I'm sure a lot of people have seen this over the last few years.
This is a statue or a sculpture. Of
This was a wide feature during Pizzagate research.
A crocodile in a suit coming out of a sewer, eating a small human or a child who's got a bag of money for their head. Literally in the same borough in Brooklyn where the synagogue.
And obviously, if you look at the reptilian, they're actually humanoid because they've got hands.
Yeah.
But a reptilian head.
It's basically a crocodile, someone in a suit with a crocodile's head.
That's right.
Yeah. Again, maybe coinciditis, but I doubt it.
There's a lot of it around, Lance. It's the season.
It is the season. Inside secret tunnel built by extremist Jewish students linking historic cleansing bath to Brooklyn synagogue.
Cleansing bath.
Sounds a bit weird. They were only discovered when a homeowner heard suspicious noises at night. So the official story is that this breakaway sect of extreme students within the Chabad Leibovich movement have gone against the wishes of the elders to carry on building these tunnels to link other buildings in the street, just for convenience. That's the official story. But it gets deeper. It turns out that the students which are trying to stop the tunnel being filled in are this breakaway sect who are super fanatical worshippers of someone called Rabbi or the Rebbe Menachem Mendel Schneerson.
So this dude here, Schneerson,
Now,
he looks. I mean, he's got the
looks like
Saturnian death cube strapped to his fucking
What are you
forehead.
talking about? He looks like a well-trustworthy character.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you what, man, I wouldn't be having this dude round for dinner.
Right, what apart from this guy looking like some sort of like evil Saturn worshipping Krampus, right? The important thing to it does look like Krampus. You like that one?
Yeah.
You deserve to have a button for that. This guy was actually revered as the Messiah. Come on! And this breakaway sect, although this guy died in 1994, still worship him as the Messiah. So from the early 1950s until his death in 1994, Menachem Mendel Schneerson, revered by his followers worldwide simply as the Rebbe, built the Leibovich movement from a relatively small sect in Hasidic Judaism.
Mate, that's such a great name.
Into a powerful force. This guy is essentially in this line of, I believe, about 6 to 10 sort of allegedly failed Jewish messiahs. So
he's the bloodline.
Remember what we were saying about Shabbatai Zevi?
Yeah.
Back in 1666,
Michael
had this breakaway movement. Well, yeah, I literally put this together this morning when I looked a little bit deeper. I had to read about 20 mainstream articles to find out.
Mate, I'm so sorry for that.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry you had to ingest that.
I found the link in Rolling Stone that they actually said that these students that were trying to protect their God-given right to build this tunnel were the most fanatical followers of this guy, the Messiah. But it's also important to point out, within mainstream Judaism, anyone that believes this guy is the Messiah is actually an outcast and treated as a heretic or non-believer.
So is this a Zionist Messiah?
It's hard to say because...
it's fascinating. It's an interesting subject.
It's exactly the same as Shabbatai Zevi. At the time, he had so many followers. He had 1 million followers. He was getting so powerful.
And again, guys, if you look at the psychological fact, it's just another fucking cult.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Just another cult.
If we know what the cult of Shabbatai Zevi ended up morphing into and creating,
it's not insignificant.
Not insignificant at all. What have I got here on the next slide? So
here we go. Yeah, I found this one earlier.
Go on.
So organ trafficking. Rabbis arrested over massive crime ring. This was back in July 24th, 2009.
Now, the first thing that the mainstream media said when this tunnel story came out...
Bearing in mind, this article on the left is in New Jersey. This is where
they said that the idea of... the link between child trafficking or organ harvesting or the trade of organs being talked about here is an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. But right here in the mainstream media, a huge organ trafficking ring was busted in New Jersey where a number of high-profile rabbis and politicians were busted for
44 elected officials, it says here, Jewish rabbis.
Buying kidneys off people for $10,000 a pop and then selling them for $150,000. So this is in July 24th, 2009.
Don't forget, guys, they have to acquire these kidneys, okay? So moving on, what have we got here on the right, Lance?
Well, this is the interesting thing. Just 1 month later, in fact, to the day, August the 24th, Chabad Hasid, so that's the same sect as digging the tunnels, donates a kidney to a member of rival Satmar sect. And the kidney was donated from someone in New Jersey to guess where? Brooklyn.
That's where the tunnels are.
So it looks like this was done, and the whole story behind it is, look, there is a positive story about organs and rabbis. So it's like while they're getting done for organ trafficking, one of them donates a kidney to the tunnel diggers.
To a rival, sect.
Things like,
this is clown world.
I'm not even making this up. I'm not even making this up. But,
Thank you, Lance.
Nice to save you the bother. So yeah, when your rabbit holes turn into rabbi holes.
Excellent.
Gosh. So yeah, I mean, we're going to be going into this tomorrow night in a lot more detail. There's some other quite more shocking stuff. I didn't really know if it's appropriate to show to your viewership.
I mean, it's all appropriate. Let's get it out.
Well, no, there's just a lot more memes. We haven't got that much time, and
we definitely are going to have to wrap up pretty soon.
Okay, we're going to have to wrap up. In the last 5 minutes, we're just going to point out a massive psy-op that's been big in 2024 and last year that's only going to get bigger. And the great segue meme here is someone interested in Epstein is now looking over to this UFO. We had this thing in Miami about this 10-foot UFO walking around the other day with all these cop cars. I've seen the video. It's clearly 3 policemen walking next to each other. This is some huge, massive psyop. People are saying Project Bluebeam. Miami police released the first picture of the 10-foot alien here. Now, we want to also say, watch out for what's going on in the Truther movement. Andy PG,
I'll just quickly reel off because I know we're going to wrap up. So basically, I've been watching recently a lot of Jason Archaic stuff, and in between when his video's finished and another one comes on, he's monetized his channel, which is cool. And there's all the adverts that I'm getting up. I just screenshot some. They're all constantly Gaia, Graham Hancock, all like disinformation specialists.
Federation.
They're talking about the Galactic Federations and reptilian expansion into our galaxy. You know, it is all like so. What I've
these
noticed
guys are coming to save us, the Acturian white hats.
Yeah, again, it's psychologically, it's got Jesus Savior written all over it. It's just modernized. But what I was saying to Lance in a private message was, what the algorithm's doing is if you're actually looking at something which is, you know, pretty much truthful. I think Jason Archaic, he's put everything together pretty well. And I'll stake my reputation on it that, you know, his research is very valid. But what I'm seeing is when it goes onto an advert, when you're watching his stuff and other people like him, it puts you on to disinformation specialists, and that's what the algorithm's doing.
It's actually targeting people that are getting the good information. Here's a big purple cul-de-sac.
I said to Lance, I was like, you know, you think people that watch Rise Above, we constantly have artists on like Inspective Edge, Comprehend, Ryan Sanders, to say a few of them. And then if it was a true algorithm which wasn't trying to deceive you, it would put you on to adverts for those people, and affiliates of Rise Above, such as it should for Archaics, should put you on to people like Shiva Shampoo and stuff like that. Not fucking Gaia and Graham Hancock.
Yeah. So yeah, watch out. Al Gore is always listening, and he's very invasive.
He's always there.
You have to build your mental fortress. So Rebecca, I hope we've given you a little bit of a taster for everyone at Acapulco of what we do here on a Friday night. I know we're not live now, but we try to bring the same flavour.
Yeah, you guys have a very detailed and humorous way of bringing information to light. And I do encourage everybody to go and check out your show, your website, riseabove.tv, and also to support you by buying some merch. So I'm really looking forward to my merch coming. I'm excited.
It'll be there soon. All the way to Tasmania takes a little while.
I know, and I was but it is great to see the approach that you guys are taking, and that it is it's using the tools that these creeps have been using against us to control humanity. And but most of all, making people laugh, because really it raises our vibration, and those creeps can't move with us without.
It's good for the soul.
It is,
Yep.
and it actually keeps us safe. I believe by laughing, because you're at a higher vibration, and those creeps are not. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'd just like to say thank you to everyone at Anarchapulco, especially to all the speakers and virtual speakers, everyone there in person, especially people like Mark Passio, Vinny Eastwood, people like that. I've been following your work for a long time, guys.
Yeah, we feel absolutely blessed to even be considered to be on the same platform as people, like Max Egan, David Icke, Mark Passio, Dollar Vigilante. It's a massive thing for us. So if you want to see more of Rise Above, the main place to do it is riseabove.tv. That will take you to all our different YouTube channels, the Raw Academy, and everything else we're doing.
Sweet. Thanks a lot, guys.
Okay. All right.
That's awesome.
Thanks very much, Rebecca. All right, we'll say goodbye, and everyone, don't forget to rise above.
Inside the dungeon with Oma Beats. 2018. Double L, why so serious? Once again. Yo. Educated and articulate. Well stated, particular. But if I wanna turn it up, bars hit hard like a barbiturates. Knock out, pure petulance. Shock out, kill your restlessness. Every single word in a syllable. That's my final will in a testament. MCs chat about whips and cars. Me about bars about pyramids on Mars. Other weird subjects. Hidden for years, locked in casks. Strap your protective mask, inform your collective that war is star. It's a harrowing task and I'm swimming in fears on a narrowing path, on powering past. These bullshit rappers, I'll devour them last. And they're carrying fast, drop from the top of a towering shaft. Push from the ledge of a soaring peak, shook from the pledge of a war and speak. Close to the edge, the outlook's bleak. Frozen breath, cause the output's weak. Poison dart, straight to the heart, mate. And now a sound boy never wanna partake. It's not a game, in no arcade. I shoot like a cupid, I'm causing them heartache. Cry me a river, it's your last day. I was a sinner, that's in the past, mate. We never talk no more. What's going on that you never wanna parlay? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. No one mentioned, no one named. And I move on the track like a high-speed train. Never derailed by leaf nor rain. Relentless on a long campaign. Darts of fire with a pinpoint aim. My MET, HOD of delivery to bring you the pain. Blood drips, congealed on the dirt. Forms red blood, and you're feeling the hurt when the carnage occurs. We let the demon speak and then hang on his words. Mesmerized by the evil inside, hypnotizing all people alive, energizing the feeble demise. Life in the dungeon's extremely deprived, and it's dark in this dungeon. And right every corner the evil's abundant, hope is redundant. These treacherous beings spread the dysfunction, they feed on your soul. For their lunch and get pleaded with gold and prepare for consumption. It's the ravenous huntsman, right arm hold your carcass triumphant. Right arm hold your carcass triumphant. Yo, on the beats, double L. You know you gotta ask questions, yeah? Live inside the studio, it's a booth thing. Yo, I ask questions that are the deepest. What is a religious extremist? A terrorist with a Wahhabi thesis or pedo priest? Praying to Jesus, a rabbi, circumcising a penis, gesturing God, acting fiendish, lecturing mums about who is the cleanest, claiming we're equal but acting elitist. Listen up, there's lies in his sermon. Why is that? You think is vermin. Hypocrites ain't hard to determine. You gotta rise up and be wise like a serpent. Beware the Sabian serpents who prey on the weak, peddling burden. Dissidents are destined for burning. Indoctrination is different to learning. You know the fables are coded, demons and angels, the meaning's eroded. Reasons moaned by those who devoted, revised, rewrote and promoted. Years past, scriptures unfolded. The names changed but never the motive. Translated, wildly misquoted. Sugar-coated, violent, corrosive notions. Charged with bitter emotions, boarded ships and sail across oceans. Holy books, gunpowder explosions, hiding the text like Trojans. Insidious lines were spoken, indigenous minds were broken. Many tread the path of the chosen, and they step with the hoof of the cloven. No half-baked bars in this booth. Oma Beats Double L 2018. They're like Double L, why so serious?
We have had some new terms, some new
Ramish language.
Ramish vocab has been added in the last 18 months from new happenings, new levels of understanding that we've come to. and every 50 episodes, I think that should become a thing.
Yeah,
I
we'll
think,
do that.
I think it's important that people understand our language because it's, you know, you got to teach people your language, haven't you? When they come
Yeah,
from the
because
culture.
you know, we do want to attract new visitors, new viewers, and new you know, regulars, and it's important that they do have a full understanding of everything we talk about because we can't say things plainly and clearly
Well, like I said,
because
you've
of Al
got-
Gore.
You have to know the dance steps, don't you?
Yeah, you do. Otherwise, you're just going to get flattened on the dance floor. Al Gore's just going to bogle all over you.
It's going to do the foxtrot over your ass.
He's going to do the foxtrot over your ass. L is for little hats. This term was first appropriated.
We need to be careful here that we're not
from Jason
putting out
Archaics.
hate speech.
Little hats is a blanket term used to describe people from multiple different faiths,
Yes.
which have infiltrated those faiths and acts as a superior priest class and steers them towards Sabbatean-Frankism,
Yeah,
which is
yes.
the go-to religion of the Khazarian mafia.
Excellently. Well,
Right.
well done.
Now, they can be seen wearing various different little hats of various different colours, sometimes red, sometimes white, and sometimes black.
Yeah.
They wear many different little hats, but they are who we talk about.
There's nothing like the smell of toasted rabbit in the morning.
I think that was very well put.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
you've done that very well.
Thank you. Right, so we'll move on to M. We're getting through it. We've gone over 3 hours. Right,
suits.
M is for meat suit. What's a meat suit? I hear you cry. Why do we always talk about the meat suit? Well,
This is your vessel.
yeah, in Ramish theology or Abavrizian philosophy, we are merely passengers of this meat vessel, which is our means of transportation through the peasant sphere. You can't exist and interact in the clanverse unless you've got a meat suit.
Yep.
But we recognise that we are not the meat suit. It is only
We're just using it temporarily.
yeah, it's just a vehicle. It's just a vehicle. The body is a
vehicle.
vehicle more than flesh. Don't be afraid to pass the last test. Okay, so
Nice to meet you.
yeah, nice to meet you. There's lots of different uses for meat suit.
Quite a dwelling, peasants.
Or if someone's a waste or a loser, just go, what a waste of a meat suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, crimes against the meat suit.
Crimes
Against the meat suit.
Yeah,
That should
Right.
be a little feature.
that maybe someone could
It's
mean
a name for a documentary.
it. Crimes against the meat suit. Right, M is for meat suit. I believe you made this one on the Al Gore machine. Didn't
I
you?
thought I did. I wasn't too sure.
Yeah. I
Imagine
basically when I was working on this, if I had enough time, I could have probably filled it. But because on the Al Gore machine, we basically had an image for everything that we'd ever thought of, pretty much, and things that we could never even conceive. Yeah. So M is for meat suit. M is for. Oh, come on. M is for
Michael.
Why do we keep saying Michael?
See, this is a broad spectrum.
I mean, without going really deep and going into ancient historical Farangistanian culture born out of Waste Manor and telling you about how this actually originally happened, which I can't really explain. No, I could, but it's just very deep. It's to do with a very intense lysergic acid ritual that involved in manifesting something that was basically the spirit of Michael Jackson from Bo Selector, the special Christmas Mofo Selector edition. Anyway, when we say Michael on the show, it's almost like speaking in the fourth person.
Yeah.
You know, you speak in the first and the second and even maybe the third person. Well, when you go Michael or you talk to Michael, it's like talking in the fourth person. It's a way of how can I? Andy,
it's difficult to
Homer,
explain
help me
this.
out. It's hard to explain it.
It can also be used in a context of if you had a heavy weekend, you could be completely Michael.
Michael.
You could have Michaeled yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, it can be used in a multitude of ways.
It can be. Like the word fuck can be used in lots of different ways.
Yeah, exactly.
Michael.
Yeah.
I'm Michael.
It's I'm Michaeled. Or like,
Yeah, I mean that it's got many different uses, but
if you're shocked, you can use it as
It's
Michael.
also an agreement.
yes,
Yeah, it's a great.
oh shit, Virus Man is in the chat.
Damn.
Whoa.
Oh, episode 100 brings back a legend.
Excellent.
The very first memetician, Virus Man.
The occultist memetician.
Virus Man, we've missed you. It's very good to know that you're safe. You've been on a sabbatical. Welcome back. Gosh. You've got a lot to catch up on, V-Man. Hope you've been watching. Yes, Nell, that's right. It's the OG. Big up Ra family. Yeah, we got to shout out to Virus, man. Okay. N is for New Organic Media.
Nom.
So this is basically the antithesis, the opposite, the antitheses of the global parasite media. Okay. New Organic Media is what we are. Completely organic. Usually, almost 100% off the bat. We don't have any scripts around here. We might have a few bullet points in a Schwab show, but we're not scripted.
And
we
some
don't have any
sound effects,
sponsors. Apart from ethical companies chosen by ourselves, which are anti-clown world. New Organic Media. Big up to other New Organic Media. Sheep Farm, Mark Devlin, Amish
all the affiliates,
all of our affiliates,
all the musicians,
New Organic
all the
Media.
guests that we've had on the show, and we go on their shows as well. And,
And going forward, this is the network which we're looking to enrich, build, and play a flagship role in. Rise above.
Excellent.
Nice use of the excellent button. All right, next up. Come on. Okay. N is for New Earth. Big up Shakti and all the crew over in Ireland. This is our new partnership over the water in the Emerald Isle in the heart of Ireland. There is a sacred piece of land where in August 24th to 28th, we are hosting a stage there. And the New Earth crew are also going to be coming over to our conference in September at Hope in September, 8th to 10th. Yeah.
This is a holographic construct.
It certainly is. So yeah, go on the New Earth website. It's newearth.ie, and you will basically see that this is a serious outfit. Over 60 artists, and we're going to be there hosting the second stage.
That's awesome.
It really is awesome. Wait till you see their lineup, or you can see half of it here. There's more to come as well. So big up all the New Earth crew.
We're taking over a stage for 5 days.
Yes,
5 days of Ramish stage.
They can have up to 1,500 people there.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so we're really looking forward to it. Big up Snell. He's coming along.
If you can make it, guys, grab some tickets.
Absolutely. We will have some competitions coming up in the coming weeks.
It says no alcohol is served.
No alcohol served. This is a conscious event. Lots of weed and mushrooms, but no alcohol served. Yes, Magics. Gotta stand for this one. Stand up for this one. Can't sit down for this one. Yo, we gotta stand up. From the studio to the stadium, basic levels I'm raising them. Drop knowledge, expand the cranium. Free your mind, never enslaving them. No games, I don't play with them. I make a soundboy sweat gymnasium. Under the radar, subterranean. Bars made hard with the forged titanium. From the booth to the bleachers, install the truth in the mouth of the teachers. Elevate the youth from Babylon's reaches. Disfiguring features, purge inconsiderate creatures. From the earth to the love increases urge. Illiterate leaders learn my word, give birth to the speakers. Yes. Learn my word, give birth to the speakers. Magic's double MC, rise above TV. I'm standing up now. It's time to stand up. Sounding really nice. I see all your flames in the chat. Straight to the heart, mate. That was Soundboy, never wanna partake. It's not a game, in no arcade. I shoot like a cupid, I'm causing them heartache. Cry me a river, it's your last day. I was a sinner, that's in the past, mate. We never talk no more. What's going on? You never wanna parlay. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. No one mentioned, no one named. Move on the track like a high-speed train. Never derailed by leaf, no rain. Relentless, on a long campaign. Darts fire with a pinpoint aim. My MET, HOD of delivery to bring you the pain. Rise above TV. Poison dart, straight to the heart. Tear them apart. As above, so below. The first should be last. Big shout to Pamela Swan. The levels are nice, we're sounding really nice. I'm gonna close my eyes. Last Ronin, post-rapture. I navigate valley and pasture, disguise my arm with the robes of a farmer. I move like a ninja, the tongue of an actor. I'll win from the emperor's men, laying submerged in a temperate fen. Temperatures raising the predators den when we sever the head of malevolent men. When a student outlives his master, seppuku slices the final answer. Refusal invites dishonor, samurai code fractured, showered in temple 33rd chapter. The Grand Abbot considers these factors, release me or prolong my capture. True can strike, instant actor. Rolling low polymath, broke that code, but should do on his eye. Dark cast, broadcast telegraph, silent words like a telepath. Twin bladed soul controller, two pillars of the dome enclosure. Magics, the dome enclosure. Wow, it's really smooth. Right, honestly, this is straight off the cuff.
This is a PPP. This is a Peasantron promotional portal.
Peasant pacification program.
Yes, it is. Yeah, Michael.
Listen, guys, this is not live. This is recorded, but we're telling you, if you want the freshest rabbit, subscribe to Peasantron. Me and PG have just recorded 2 exclusive videos. One on
one of the Olympic debauchery.
Yeah, and the other on the
current events going on in the UK.
Yeah, the stabbiness and the breaking of the second seal.
So much stabbiness.
There's 2 reasons to subscribe to Peasantron. You will get things much quicker than you will get them on a live show. And secondly, we can say things on Peasantron that you cannot say on YouTube.
We said a lot.
We said a lot. It's only £3 a month. Check the QR code. You also get a 10% discount on merchandise, and it's the best way to support
you get
Rise
special
Above.
privileges.
There's also a chat room. You can chat to the Ramish community. You can interact with ourselves. Peasantron is the #1 way to support Rise Above.
$3.33 a month, peasants.
Before we look at the awful content of Clown World, we like to fire up a device called the catalytic converter. This piece of ancient Ramish technology basically means that all of this terrible Clown World media, we can use it and fuel this machine to try and have some spiritual, or at least maybe not progression, but we can at least get some comedy out of it, right? Because at the end of the day, there is quite a lot of sludge.
The next one, Lance, bring that one on, because this is Clown World.
This was my favourite of the whole week. This was the best one.
Okay, go for it. Canadian Cancer Society recommends cervical cancer screening for men who identify as women.
Priceless Clown World.
This is definitely.
You need to give it some scratching.
Oh, what, you need to have the hee-hee so you can scratch it. I think this is possible. This
is ultimate Clown World.
The Canadian Cancer Society, which we can assume is the first and foremost sort of like base of knowledge for cancer research in Canada.
And we know Canada's fully in with the Soviet Union.
They are pro-Soviets through and through, right? So they're recommending a cervical cancer screening for men who identify as women. They're not even saying trans. Oh, they say, okay, as trans women. So they know that the person they're screening doesn't have a cervix. They know that by definition.
Sure.
Because they're saying they identify as women.
It's Clown World. It's a fucking waste of time.
So not only are they wasting time and money, I would assume that this screening could use like radio technology or something like that, or, some sort of scan. Doesn't that give people cancer? So basically, think about this, right? You're scanning a load of men in their groin with radio technology
to fry their bollocks.
Yeah,
basically,
to finish off the job.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it's sort of like, it's a bit like the Tavistock Clinic.
Got a great comment here from Johnny Fogg. Putin causes climate change.
Absolutely. I think it's worth more. Putin definitely does cause climate change. That was the headline from last week. Hillary Clinton says that Ukraine shows women and children are more susceptible to climate change.
That's right. Yeah. That was the winner.
That was the winner. So if anybody's watching this week and you sent it to me, that was the one that won. Okay.
So imagine being a time traveler, going back to 1900 and telling everyone that one day Roseanne Barr will be better looking.
Not
than
1900, 1990.
Sorry, 1990.
Roseanne Barr.
So Roseanne Barr, she was in the American sitcom. Roseanne, she was fucking huge.
She was. You wouldn't have ever thought that 20 or 30 years later, in fact, 30 years later, she would look like that.
And look at the fucking state of this on the right. I mean, what is that? What is that?
Look at that comment from We Ain't Having It. It's saying, but what if the man did screen positive for cervical cancer? They probably would after they've been shot with the big radiation cervical cancer gun.
Are they going to now get like the opposite way around? Like women who have
they'll get tested
the other way for testicular cancer.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Are you some sort of bigot?
That's what will be next. You heard it here first at Rise Above.
Nothing would surprise me anymore.
So I think this is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen Madonna, the latest footage of Madonna, Billy?
Do you know this part?
Oh, well, there's been a couple recently. She was crawling across the floor, licking. Oh, yeah, when she was simulating a blowjob the other day. Yeah.
Hi. It's from her arse.
Like it was just sucking off an Oscar or something like that. Oh my god!
No, just she was like giving us false blowjob, like licking it, obviously, and then it was on Jimmy Kimmel, I think, the other night there. And you look at Madonna now, you wonder, is that a clone or something like that? Is it the same fucking person?
This resembles nothing. Like it's not even a.
Would that make it bigger? Get rid of the chat. Let's have a proper look at that.
Looks fucking hideous.
Every time I see it, she's resembling more a Zeta Reticulum.
She's like an alien grey.
Great alien, Zeta Reticulum. Well, we've been looking into the demonology and Crowley and the link between are UFOs demons. Maybe she's just slowly transforming into a true form.
Yeah, I know she's been totally taken over. So she's like a demonic entity inside her. Like she's fucking lost it.
Yeah, I would.
Did you see Roseanne Barr's comedy clips that she done recently? Some stand up. It was quite good. Like she just talked simple terms. It wasn't like great comedy. It was just like these people that took the fucking,
Oh no, I have seen that.
Aye.
And she was just sort of like telling the truth.
Aye.
There weren't really any jokes in there. She's just like, what the fuck? I can't believe everyone did that. What a bunch of dicks. And she got a few, ooh. But you could tell, like, even the people that she was obviously talking about that were in the audience, they sort of had to agree with her.
Well, you can't not disagree, can you? Like, it's all there.
No, and I think I've got a feeling that's the kind of comedy we are going to be having a lot of at Chronox. From probably like Billy yourself, just a lot of truth telling. I know Kyle Greaves. We listened to some of his jokes earlier on, and he was saying nothing but the truth. But, my god, I was absolutely pissing myself. Diego Tequila as well. So yeah, it's going to be fun. We've got 3 stand-up comedians. Let's have a look at this one. What's this? Is this
This is great, mate. This is highly innovative.
Is this a tiny house?
£50 a month. I'd pay £50 a month to live in a skip in London.
£50 a month.
Good rent.
That's £12.50 a week.
Yeah,
not
pretty good.
Not bad.
See, skip communities. Well, this is your Schwab pod, isn't it? In your Schwab
I once
city.
paid £50 a week to live in someone's ensuite bathroom. I'm not joking. It was big.
I'm sure you're not.
I put a thing over the bath, which became the bed. The toilet was by the window down at the end, so I had like a curtain in front of that. So I had a sink and toilet at the end.
How long were you at this dwelling?
A year.
A year. Wow.
But I lived in someone's ensuite bathroom,
Nice,
so I had
mate.
to go through someone's bedroom to get out to the rest of the house.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's when I was a student. Cheap though in London, £50 a week it was.
Yeah.
Not
to get indoctrinated.
Yeah. That's what I was living there for cheap when I was getting indoctrinated at uni. That cost £10,000 a year.
Here's our man, Lord Potato Head.
This one's been made by Auntie Coviot. So we reignited the meme chain last week. We managed to get a few pumps out.
Yeah.
Nice. He's holding the
He's looked better.
I think he has looked better. But he's holding the old jewel of the Soviet Union in his little grubby sausage fingers there.
Got a live meme here, come just in from Johnny Fogg.
Nice one. Big up Johnny Fogg. Let's have a look.
Bring that up, it's on the email.
We love it's on email, is it? Yeah. Let's have a look. We love a live meme. Oh, wow. Let's have a look at this.
Simple but effective.
Okay. So we have a diagnosis. Stop right there. It's Mom. Okay, Mom, you have testicular cancer. Oh my God. Yes, this is proper rise above. That's what I love. How long ago were we talking about this? About 3.3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Very quick, Johnny Fogg. I like that. To be fair, some of these memeticians have probably got a lot of templates ready to go. I know these guys.
Got an archive just ready to send in.
These guys are organised, and that's what we like. Right, let's talk about. He's
definitely looked better.
This pandemic has been hard on all of us, Boris Johnson. What do you think, Billy, about this this Partygate thing? Because everyone, all the normies are Boris, bastard. He's got a hang for lying.
He was doing everyone a favour.
Well, Matt Hancock in the Jungle admitted they were just guidelines, and there was a video of him the other day wearing his mask, walking into Downing Street and then taking it off. So they knew it was all bullshit.
I mean, we saw shit like that back in 2020, didn't we? Like these politicians and whoever.
They got caught. They were getting caught red-handed straight away.
All the time.
So
I think what I'm getting at is, imagine a scenario where, and I'm not picking sides here, where Keir Starmer and his lot were in charge, who were pretending to be full believers of the Soviet pillars of unity, and they're obviously now attacking Boris for not following the rules. But would it have been better if we had a leader that fully believed the rules?
Look at Trudeau in Canada.